Hello, welcome back to Robinsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and share. Today, we are going to be working on these really sweet little woven, well, they could be anything, you could put them in a notebook and use them as a tuck spot or a pocket. It could just be decoration. You could, I don't have any words, but you could put a word across it. They're mostly just fun to make, and the texture of them is super delicious. So the trick that I have found, when I try to make, just cut a bunch of strips and try to get everything to line up and be more or less perpendicular to each other, the little strips of paper wiggle around and get out of place. So I figured out that if I make a little frame for it and glue some of the starter strips off down, then I can weave, and then later I glue everything in. So I thought I'd take you through that today. And I started this one where I actually cut mirroring frames. And I think, let me do this so we can see ourselves. So I just sat here right now and I glued this whole line in. So I glued all the, what to you and I right now are the horizontal strips. No, wait a minute. First I glued in these long strips. And then I put a bunch of glue, and you can see some of the glue hasn't even dried yet. And then I put a long strip of glue in, and I wove the little short pieces in. So now you'll see there's no glue here or here. So we can do that. And this is where this needle nose of this particular bottle comes in very handy. I mean, this can be sort of an imperfect plan too, but it's way easier than trying to get all the pieces to behave themselves and stay in place. So now you'll see I'm putting another line of glue on top of the all of these little pieces. First I put some glue under them. Now I'm putting them on top, and then we'll stick the other frame on. And make sure that the glue goes all the way to the outside. Whoops. Dear. So that everything will come together, and I think this is how it goes. And there we go. So now we have a two-sided, this will be kind of fun because I could put, you know, sort of a hinge there and it could flip up. I don't know. There are all kinds of ways we could use this on greeting cards, in our journals, all kinds of things. So the way that I did that was well, the way that I do this in general is I just, judging with my eye, and you'll see that on this one I use 2 pieces of cardstock that are the same size. I just happen to have 2 pieces of cardstock that are not the same color, but that are the same size. So I'm going to use these. Oops. It's kind of similar. On this one, I actually drew a line and measured it out. And it still came out slightly imperfect, but is a little less imperfect than this one. So as you can imagine, we want to leave enough width here to be able to glue down our I'm just doing that so I know how to put them back together. So I cut a strip of cardstock and now I am cutting little strips. You don't need an awful lot of them, because the way that I've been doing these is the warp and weft are kind of far apart, which I like. I like the laciness of that. You could do it so that you're weaving, you know, as much closer together. I guess it kind of depends what you think. And when I'm gluing these in, oops, I want to be inside the frame. Well, I want it to be like that. You could make it so that this overlaps, but I think I won't do that. Oh, we are having a really beautiful, beautiful day today at my house here in Maine. June is a pretty good month for having flowers bloom. I know that if you live further south, you all have been having things bloom for months, but flowers really just started blooming here. So now I want to cut some pieces that we'll get from here to here. It's about that far. I tried cutting these on a cutting board thing, a little mini guillotine, and the pieces of paper I'm working with are so small that it was kind of hard to hold on to them in the guillotine, and made sure they stayed steady. So it was less effective than I thought. Okay, so now I'm going to put glue along this line again. And what I've found is I'm going to end up with this cross piece all the way down here, but because it's glued here, it's going to be easier to do the weaving when stuff is up here. And this is just over, under, over, under. I'm not, you can do like over one, under two, you know, you can make some pretty patterns, but I'm going a little more plain weave today. Before I figured out this whole frame thing, I was looking at an old video where I took an 8.5 by 11 inch paper, the whole thing, and cut it in lengthwise strips, and then I took another paper and cut it in widthwise strips and tried to weave that. And I hadn't sort of glued things down on one side first into a frame, and it took me, I think, a couple of hours to get that to sit still enough. To make the weaving work. Took ages, and it was very frustrating. So this is just a way to get around some of that frustration. And I'm doing this thing now. Let me see if I can talk you through it. So you'll see that where I went under before, this one, and this one are kind of sticking up, but I want to go under this one. And now this one is sort of hard to get to. So what I'm going to do is belly up by pushing it downwards. I'm going to belly that up, or just pick it up. And that makes the weaving a little easier. There we go. Meanwhile, getting glue all over my fingers. I might need more than I've got. Oh, but I have another piece of this medium blue paper I can use. Oh, and this is 2. I'll be all right. So these are just really pretty, and they feel really good in my hands. The texture is just wonderful. Come on, you. Get up. There you go. So yeah, I think they're so pretty that You know, you could make somebody a birthday card or a greeting card or a thank you card, or congratulations card or anything. And just, you know, fold the card in half, have a plain card, and just put that on the front. And it would just be lovely and interesting. Or you could use it as a pocket, put a little card in it that says thank you, whatever. Up, up. There we go. Okay, now those are all that's the X. Wake up. Now, put some glue around the edges. And glue on top of the weaving strips. And matching the X for the X. Put this down. And this isn't perfect, so when this dries a bit, I will trim some of that off. There we go. We have our little weaving cards. And of course, you could do these in any colors. You could do these all in one color. That might be interesting. You could just use, I think they're called analogous colors, like red, orange, yellow, or blue, green, yellow, you know, colors that are close together on the color wheel, or opposites. You could weave like red and green or blue and orange together. Just see what that does. Or make one of them the frame. Yeah, you can really play with colors. I'm sure you could play with papers with these too. I like working with the weight of cardstock, but I'm sure this would work with regular paper. And, well, clearly it does work with regular paper. And, yeah, I'm just looking around my studio. I have this wonderful gold and silver and red and blue tin foil. And if you take a glue stick and cover a piece of cardstock and then put the tin foil on it, then you've got tinfoil paper that has a lot of sturdiness that the tinfoil doesn't. And so you could cut that in strips and weave golden things, which would be lush. You could probably mix in some fibers too. I don't know why you couldn't use some beautifully colored strings and threads and yarns. Yeah, we could really go places. So, may your imagination take you on a very happy ride. Have a spectacular day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.